Yo guys, we're back again. This is the Real Talk with your girl Chika, and also I've got Anthony in the building as
Hi
usual.
guys, how you doing?
Anthony, what's
Welcome.
poppin'? What's good?
I'm great. I'm doing
All right,
fine.
this is the Real Talk. Don't forget that if you want to catch up on all the juicy moments on the show live, where we talk about everything real estate and in between, don't forget to follow us on all our social media handles, or we'll be scrolling on your screens, your phone screens. Now today we'll be talking mortgage, and
Yeah,
it's
right.
this is going to be a breakdown kind of conversation, because we're taking it for granted that we all basically know, the basic tenets of how mortgage systems run in Nigeria. However, we will be privileged today to be hearing from a gainful, insightful realtor, from a realtor's point of view. What are those things that you need to know if you're considering getting a home, buying a property, but of course you don't have all the funds, so you want to take out a mortgage on that home? What is going to make it easier for you? What are those things you need to look out for? How do you ensure that you do your due diligence first before you even get into the part where you can now find developers who will be willing to work with you on, owning your own home through mortgage? So Anthony will be, doing it justice and breaking it down for us simply. So what's the first thing that, for instance, if I want to take out a mortgage to buy a home, what are the basic things that I need to bear in mind, or I need to know before I even go all the way to the
get it.
developer or to the agent or whoever's
All right.
going to hook me up?
Okay. So, first, I'd like to say it's a privilege to be having this conversation, because I've always wanted to have this show where we get to talk about things like mortgage, because
Okay.
I've seen, so during my course of operations or while working, I've seen so many people get it wrong, and sometimes they blame the realtor, sometimes they blame the developer, when most times the fault is just from them. You get. So first, I'd like to acknowledge that we've been, I don't know, should I call it privileged, or I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. Some people say it's a good thing, some people say it's a bad thing. In this country, most people buy houses outrightly.
Yes.
So
that is the norm, actually.
yeah,
I
so
think,
mortgage
to a large
isn't
extent.
really a thing, but it's starting to
Pick up.
because so in saner climes we have mortgages that are centered around single digits interest rates, so
Yes.
9 below. But over here,
It's as high
I've
as
seen
15 to
mortgages that
25%.
it's crazy. It's very high. So if you are going to be taking out a mortgage,
have to
at
do it
least
right.
you should do it right.
You
you should
have
know what you're doing. You get. So the first thing I'd like to share is, guys, if you are going to go for a mortgage, or if you want to take a mortgage, please don't go look for a house before approaching the bank.
Why?
That is absolutely wrong.
How
You get.
so?
Because one, you go look for a house, you spend time going through 1, 2, 3, 4 listings, and then you finally see that one, and then you
That
say,
catches
oh,
your eye,
that
that you're
catches
in
your
love
eye,
with.
and then you say, oh yeah, I want to get it through a mortgage, and then you start going to a bank after that. Now take cognizance of a couple of things. People who do that, because there's what I call personal self assessment.
Okay.
They probably just check themselves and then be like, oh, I have this job that pays so figure a month.
So I should be able to
I should
afford a
be
house
able,
for this income, for this bracket.
all of that is just self-assessment. You get. You should approach a bank and have what I call a pre-qualification done for you.
Okay.
So they verify your employment, they verify your salary, they verify
Your
a couple of other
assets.
things. Yeah, your assets. They verify a couple of
Creditworthiness.
before they be certain that these guys will give you the money. It's like when they do a pre-qualification, then they can say, you go get a house, we would fund it.
Okay.
You get. So every other thing it transcends from just you to, it's a question of, oh, what property are you bringing? Whatever verification they want to do now, it's going to be on the property, not on you again. But if you go out to look for a house before approaching the bank, you
putting the cart before the horse.
that's it.
Yeah.
You get. So that's one. And then secondly, another reason why you should actually go approach the bank, you want to know how long it takes the bank to approve a loan. That supposedly everything checks out, everything works out fine, good documents, your verification came out nice. How long do they take? You want to get that information, because some people, you approach a developer, you say, oh, it's a 50 million naira property, and then you say, I'm going to pay 10 million naira. I think that should be like 20% of that. I don't know. Yeah, that should be 20% of the 50 million, and the bank will be paying the balance. So when paying that 10%, most times you would need a contract of sale that would keep that property off the market. So the developer wants to know, how long a contract do you want? How long should I take this property off the market for you, for your bank to come through?
Okay.
Now, if you don't approach the bank first, you shortchange yourself, because sometimes you might say, oh, give me 1 month. But it takes the bank more than 1 month. The bank needs to do property valuation. They have to go through documentation, do a lot of checks, on their own part before they would approve this thing. Because now, guys, this is coming from experience. You get, this is coming from, it's something that I've actually experienced on field. You get, so go to the bank, know how long it will take them to approve that loan before you are able to draw up a contract for that initial deposit that you want to make. That way you don't put yourself into any boxed up situation where it's, because at the end of the day, if the contract elapsed and the bank hasn't come through, by law, that developer has the right to sell that property to any other person and refund you.
And do you lose your down payment, or you get it?
It depends. Now you have contract of sales that says there's a 10% clause for you not coming through. You get, so if you default, there's a default clause in most contract of sale that's 10%. It varies. It's not a fixed rate, so it just depends. So guys, you want to actually go to the bank first before going to look for a house. And then there's something else that I'd like to add. I've noticed this particular one with people who are well traveled, who probably they've lived abroad before or something like that, and they come back, oh, I have someone who bought a property in America and mortgage, blah blah blah, I want to do the same here. Now, one thing you should know about the real estate in this country, in center climes like in the US, what they do is the seller realtor or seller agent relationship is usually an exclusive one.
Right.
So if I have a house and I want to sell, I get a seller's agent, and I sign an exclusivity. In America, I think it's for about 3 months. You're given the mandate to sell the house for 3 months, and then if you can't, they review or take off the mandate from you and give it to someone else. Yeah, but it's for 3 months. So they run an exclusivity. So that way, in America, it's easy to go to a seller's agent, open up a transaction for a mortgage, and you're guaranteed you're working with the only person that has the mandate for that house. Yeah. So if anything is going to change, you get informed, you know what's happening, because you're working with the person in charge, the only person in charge of that property. Right. But in Nigeria, it's different. We run an open market, a system where anybody can walk up to a developer, a property, and say, I want to sell your property. There's no law, nothing that checkmates things like that. So take, for example, you approach a developer and then you open up a quest for that property using a mortgage. You get, and you default, or if not, you don't even have to default, but it's shaky where you're still trying to go through this, get verification, get this and that in place, and then some other person just comes with a buyer who says, oh, I want to pay outright. If you were in that developer's shoes, you don't want to keep your house in the market to wait for somebody you're not guaranteed.
Variables that you have no
control over. You would sell the house. You get. So guys, you really need to get to the bank before you come look for a house.
The first port of call, essentially, for anybody who's looking to do a mortgage is to first of all check in with the lending institution, whether it's a bank, whether it's a national housing fund, any primary mortgage institution that you're interfacing with. That's the first port of call for you who is trying to undertake a mortgage. There's something else that I wanted to ask you about. So, for instance, usually some people, when they get their pre-verification done or pre-qualification, and then you're told that, oh, okay, you can actually, get a loan, a mortgage loan of up to this amount, say 20 million naira. Now, some people will go in as a first timer, go in and actually take out a full loan at that 20 million naira. Do you say that is really advisable? Because I've heard that usually it's better and safer for you to work within. Don't go at the top or at the climax of the mortgage loan that you qualify for. Still play it safe and play it within, say, a 10 or 15 million, just in case anything happens. Yeah. That way you're not fully stretched beyond limits because you applied for a loan at the very tip of what loan you can access.
Afford. Yeah, I get.
What are your thoughts on that?
For me, see, the Nigerian mortgage system have a quick fix for that. Okay. Abroad, I'm sure there are mortgage firms who accept equity of as low as 10%. Over here, some of them take equity of as high as 30%.
Yes,
You get
true,
so
true.
it will be difficult for you to stretch, because some of them take 30%. Imagine 30% of the total cost.
Over a period of 15 years.
Yeah, you have some people who would accept a 10% down. You pay 10% would on the senior clients, you pay 10% would cover up 90%. Some would say you pay 20% will cover up 80%. But over here, it's most of them would do, though some do 20, but most of them would do a 30%. You get, so to an extent you can't even outstretch yourself in trying to get a maximum of the full cost of that particular property.
So what would you say is the major role that, my last question, and the major role that the agent plays when it comes to working out a mortgage system that works for me as a home buyer, for instance? What would you say is the major bottleneck that the agent helps me transcend when it comes to that scenario?
Okay, the first thing, because of the exclusivity that we have here, because of the non-exclusivity that we have here, the major role of an agent during a mortgage transaction is to get a contract for that client. Because when you get a contract that says if you pay 10 million naira, let's say it's a 50 million naira property, the contract says if you pay 10 million naira, you have 2 months to balance up. It gives that the buyer some peace of mind that I have 2 months of this property to myself. It's off the market. It's just there for you. Coming, the developer is expecting you to come through in 2 months. You get, but if you don't have a contract, if it's just pay your 10 million naira and it's still open for any other person, you could lose the property after paying 10 million naira.
Right.
So as an agent, one of your major roles is helping that client get a contract that says the property will be taken off the market until so and so time, which should be a considerable time for the bank to come through. And then, guys, one more thing that I'd like for you to take cognizance of: we have different kind of mortgages in this country, or mortgage companies in this country. Some of them can be lenient with their requirements. You get. So let's take, for example, building plans. I know some mortgage firms that are willing to take a payment document that shows you've paid all the sums that is required for you to get a building plan, but it's just the government that is taking time to issue a building plan approval to you. Some people can actually give you a loan for that. Some of them can be flexible, but some of them you really have to get that building plan before anything can be done. So guys, you really want to get to the bank and actually, get a feel of what their requirements are before you go out to look for a house. That way you put yourself in some kind of safe spot where you don't lose money at the end of the day. Because one thing you should know, apart from going to meet these guys, there are other statutory fees that you pay. You pay for your survey. You pay for the valuation that will be done on that property.
And this has nothing to do with your down payment.
So imagine if at the end of the day the mortgage doesn't come through after you've paid an initial deposit and all those statutory fees, you lose this money. You don't go to the government to ask for the survey cost you paid to them, or you go to your property valuator to get the money back. It's gone. It's gone. You get. So take time. Talk to your bank before approaching an agent to look for a house.
Okay, I guess that's the final word, and you have impressed upon our minds why it is very important that as somebody who is trying to get a mortgage facility, that you ensure that you do your due diligence with your loaning institution first of all before you even get into the market to home shop or speak to an agent. It's important that you first of all do your due diligence and get a pre-verification and get a pre-qualification before you actually venture into the market. Thank you so much, Anthony.
Thank you, Chika.
That's been the beats that we can take today on Real Talk. Don't forget that we do this every other week, so if there are questions, if there are comments, if there are observations, if there are topics you'd like us to talk on, please reach out to us in our comment section and put that in, and we will talk about it and keep it real.
Thanks for watching. If this video was helpful and you would love other exciting videos on tech, growing your business and making more money online, kindly subscribe to our channel at Breed School and click the bell notification icon to stay updated on other upcoming videos we create. You can also connect with us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn at Breed School, or visit us at breedschool.com. Have a great time and keep soaring. Bye.